Nothing imminent, but the temperature has definitely gone up. Please give me the time to explain. The last time we confirmed that a hot bubble of action was going to happen was on May 7th on a Sunday in Chicago between Colorado and the Big 12. This hot bubble of action has already happened. Intermediaries between North Carolina and the Southeastern Conference allegedly recently occurred. We got it confirmed. We got it confirmed by more than one entity. I'll just say it like that. Please allow us to explain to you what we know has recently just happened. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Make sure you ring the notification bell. If you want to support this independent national rebel outpost college football show with a donation, just hit that $sign where you put down your comments, and we'll get to you super chat as quick as we possibly can. welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. We have been working on this since Wednesday evening, July 1st. We've been working on this. We wanted to make sure we got it confirmed. We wanted to gauge the importance of this. We don't believe this rises to the level of the Colorado president meeting with the Big 12. But this was not allegedly. For those lawyers out there watching our program, allegedly. This was allegedly not a typical Zoom call, not a typical check-in. The temperature has ratcheted up. Now, we here at Peek Around the Corner, we truly believe that this next expansion of the Southeastern Conference is going to happen sometime down the road, probably a very short road from here. But this was not the Southeastern Conference's timetable, nor was it the Big Ten. And we have also reported just in the last few days that the Southeastern Conference is more motivated, they're more nimble, they can do this easier. We are not reporting tonight. We are not reporting tonight that North Carolina is going to become a member of the Southeastern Conference. We have predicted that. We have predicted that over the last 3 years. But this is not a report. This is a report, actually. But it's not a report of North Carolina becoming a member of the Southeastern Conference. We don't think we're there yet. We don't think so. We could be wrong. We definitely could be wrong. But we don't think we are. But this, you can take this report however you want to take it, ladies and gentlemen. We would never do something like this. We don't do anything lightly here at Peek Around the Corner. We don't take ourselves seriously, but we take what we do here seriously. And for the long-time members of this program, you remember I came on here late April of 2023, and I laid down a marker, a hot bubble of action. Between April 28th and May 17th, something was scheduled to happen. We knew it was scheduled to happen on May 7th in Chicago, but we could not put that information out there. And then on May 8th, the next live show, after we knew, we got it confirmed that the meeting between Brett Yormark and Colorado happened. We came on here on May 8th and we said the Pac-12 is hanging by a thread. It got a shot in the solar plexus. Soon after that live show, of course, guys like Tony Altimore and his band of morons dragged us over the coals over and over and over again. We were putting out all this disinformation. It was all accurate. Every bit of it was accurate. This particular hot bubble of action has already happened. It has already happened. I would describe this meeting, and we'll get back into it in the back half of the monologue. I will describe this meetings of intermediaries, a word that I do not like to say, but that's how it was described to us multiple times. We have been working on this story since July 1st. This meeting was pretty damn important. This meeting was significant. And I would say this: I am not the only one who knows of this meeting, obviously. But I think, well, I will say this. I did not get any strings attached to me. I was not embargoed. I was given the okay. The only thing we had to do is make sure that we could report this as soon as possible, as clearly as possible. We do not believe anything is imminent. Now, you might ask, wow, how can you say that, Greg? If this is a serious meeting, because first of all, we don't think that North Carolina even has the ability to pull the trigger. So this is definitely not imminent. But from the North Carolina perspective, the leadership perspective, they are in really down the road talks with the Southeastern Conference. Now we can finally say that in the open. The Big Ten, let's not get it twisted. The Big Ten has North Carolina at the very tippity top of their candidate list, other than Notre Dame. So, has the Big Ten had the same type of meeting with North Carolina in recent days, in recent weeks? We do not know. We are going to be poking and prodding on that question. We don't have that information. It is quite possible that has happened. But we don't have that information. But we do know, and again, you can disagree with us in the chat room. You can give me a call and let me know how wrong we got it. But North Carolina is at the top of the Big Ten candidate list. If you do not, if Notre Dame is not part of the list. Southeastern Conference is serious about their next expansion. It's a matter of time. It's not a question of if. But this is not a report to say that North Carolina is going to be School 17. But it is a report that the SEC and the North Carolina Tar Heels are making steps towards that. We reported a few days ago on July 1st, not on July 1st and July 2nd. And before that, a few days before that, there are people chatter behind the curtain that is hitting that refresh button. They're keeping an eye. Everyone is keeping an eye on what is the scheduling of the Board of Governors in the state of North Carolina. Everyone's keeping an eye on that. Now, all of this is happening, and we're gonna obviously this you see that circle? You see that circle? Well, that means something, okay? We'll get back. That circle is put up there for a reason, and we'll talk about that later on in the program. There is more information coming out, and we talked about it yesterday. Holy smokes, we got a massive super chat from MBM. My goodness, thank you so much, Mr. Oklahoma State Cowboy. Happy birthday, happy 4th, PATC. Holy smokes. Wow, MBM, thank you for your incredible generosity and all the support and everything you do here at Peek Around the Corner. All your comments in the comments section. All your I do declare predictions. MBM, you're either going to be in first or you're going to be in last in the I do declare World Championship. Thank you so very much. Wow, massive. I'm very humbled by that. Thank you very much. I was going to do a 4th of July PATC rendition song today, but then we got this story all laced up, confirmed, and so then I said I better not cheapen the show today by me singing. Maybe I'll do a special rendition tomorrow. But anyways, thank you, MBM. I do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I'm very humbled by that incredible, massive super chat and incredible support for PATC from the one and only Oklahoma State Cowboy, MBM. We got a super chat from Anthony Carlson. Red alert, all hands to battle stations. Thank you for the $5 holler, Anthony Carlson. I very much appreciate it. By the way, Anthony Carlson, what do you know about Aiden West? The true freshman cornerback that played a bunch of snaps for Michigan State last year. He went to the portal. He is now a Golden Gopher. It sounds like he's going to have that number 2 cornerback position. John Nestor on one side, Aiden West on the other. It sounds like Aiden West separated himself from everybody else on the Gophers to transfer. Let me know what your thoughts on Aiden West. True freshman season at East Lansing. Did he look good? He played a lot. He played a lot for a true freshman. Thank you, Anthony Carlson. Thank you for the $5 holler. I appreciate it. OBD done. Greg, Mama Duck says, pull on your ear if it's happening. You don't need a verbal. That's from one tiger to the other. Come to think of it, we'll have an armada of tigers for sure. I'm not pulling on my earlobes. I got ugly enough earlobes as it is. I don't want to disfigure them any more than they already are. Thank you for the $10 holla. OPD done. This is not a report that it is done. This is definitely a report that a recent important meeting of intermediaries did happen. It did happen. Not only did it happen, but it happened outside of the offices. Possibly. Yes, it did. We'll get into that later. We'll get into that later. Thank you, OPD Don. I appreciate it so very much. We got Christopher UNC to the SEC. Get over it. B1G. Holy smokes. Christopher Hooter, $2 holler. Thank you, Purple and Gold. Christopher Hooter, appreciate it. We got Studzilla. Studzilla super chat. If North Carolina goes to the SEC, who would most benefit future SEC Big Ten expansion teams? Who would most benefit is the school that the SEC in North Carolina would want as a partner. We do believe that North Carolina wants Virginia as a partner. And SEC would take Virginia. But again, that is an if. If North Carolina goes to the Southeastern Conference, because it is not confirmed at this moment, not from PATC. Studzilla, thank you very much. Greg, we need to hear you sing Party in the USA or Real American. I don't know if you guys need to hear me sing either one of those songs, but if I kick out a song tomorrow, it'll be a more traditional birthday America 250 years type of song, not Party in the USA or Real American. But thank you, Studzilla. I'm sorry. Those two songs are not in my songbook, in my Flugar songbook. Thank you, Studzilla. I appreciate the generosity, though. Thank you so very much. We've got OBD done. So that circle around Nashville is actually the Nashville 500, right, Greg? Wink, wink. I'm not going to wink, although I just blinked. That circle is there for a reason. That's all I can say at this point. We'll talk about it at the back half of the monologue. Thank you, OBD Don. Thank you for the generosity once again, sir. You are so incredibly kind to us. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Let's get to our program. We are going to skip the roll call because we got a spotlight to do. I want to go through a very interesting article out there in Washington State, Cougar Country, and then we're going to get into the hot bubble of action. And again, for those who have not been with our program for the longest time, the last time we talked about a hot bubble of action, we got word of a meeting that was going to occur, and that was around the Big 12 trying to poach an Pac-12 school. The day after the meeting, we still couldn't really talk about what happened, but we talked about how the Pac-12 got a shot in the solar plexus on May 8th. The meeting happened on May 7th. This one's different. We got word of this after it happened. So I do not have to be vague about it. I mean, there's some things that we're not going to, but we can be more detailed on this because it already happened, allegedly. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here. Look, maybe this type of meeting has already happened between the Southeastern Conference and a whole host of schools. Instead of Zoom calls, phone calls, it's quite possible. So again, but we don't know of all these other meetings. We do know of this one. Same thing with the Big Ten. Big Ten might have had the same exact type of meeting with North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the day out, the day before, the day after, in a different city. We don't know. We don't know. Here at Peek Around the Corner, we do know that Washington and Oregon met with the Big Ten in New York City and Washington, D.C. We do know that Colorado met with the Pac-12 in Chicago. We do know that the Southeastern Conference, at a much higher level than previous, met with the University of North Carolina in some capacity outside of UNC Chapel Hill and outside of Birmingham, Alabama. That is what we know. And a little bit more. We're going to talk about it later on. So again, not a report that UNC is joining the Southeastern Conference. But if I would take this advice, if you want to. If you don't want to take advice, go ahead. Don't take the advice. But my advice would be, this is another indication of how serious the Southeastern Conference is about North Carolina. They are the linchpin to further Southeastern Conference expansion. This is the one that the Sankey and the Moorhead and the Plowman and all of them, this is the one they want. This is the linchpin to the small scoop, to the big scoop. And I don't know, look, the Southeastern Conference might not pull the trigger here in the next couple of months. We've got more reporting that possibly, the quick strike is not needed from the Southeastern Conference perspective. We believe the Big Ten doesn't want to do the quick strike unless they have to. So we're going to go through that reporting today. But you can question it. You can do whatever you want with this information. But I got to tell you, from a peek around the corner perspective, since June 15th of 2024, we have been reporting that North Carolina is the number one target for the Southeastern Conference. They're the number one targets for the Big Ten if you take Notre Dame out of the equation. If you put Notre Dame in the equation, North Carolina is number two. We've been saying that since June 15th of 2024. It is July 3rd of 2026. That has not changed. It's only been cemented by the information that we were able to luckily receive through multiple sources that are in different bubbles of information. All right. Let's get to it. We're not going to do a roll call. I do apologize. No roll call. Again, one more time. This is not a report. I know 99.99% of you are going to take this report as it truly is. This is not a report that the North Carolina Tar Heels are joining the Southeastern Conference or is joining the Southeastern Conference in the next couple of months. But this is a report that we know confirmed double over that the North Carolina intermediaries, top level, met with the Southeastern Conference at a whole different level than just data sharing. All right? This is what you need to do to get to the next stage, which then would be imminent stuff. I don't believe anybody, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think anybody has said, okay, we made the decision, we're going to expand on August 15th, on September 1st, on September 29th, and these are the school. I don't think any of that stuff has happened. But this is the stuff that happens for that stuff to happen. This is the stuff that happens when USC first called the Big Ten. And we gave you that information on March 31st, 2022. This is the beginning of the book that is being written. And if the Big Ten hasn't gone to this level with North Carolina, or they haven't planned to go to this level with North Carolina, if they don't have it scheduled to go to this level with North Carolina, you better get on that level, Big Ten, with North Carolina. Hint, hint, wink, wink. And that message was delivered to the Big Ten from a few people out there. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Cloak and dagger. Cloak and dagger. Cloak and dagger. All right, let's get to it. We got a spotlight. We'll get to the super chats and your phone calls later on. I appreciate everybody coming on in here on a beautiful July 3rd. We're gonna try to get you out of here as quick as possible, but you know how it is. When I start rambling on, we've been working on this week. This is a July 1st story that I wanted to make doubly sure, and we got it. We got it. So I think this is the quickest we could have gotten you this information. Doing it with respect to the story, doing it with respect to the sources, and doing it with respect to you all. I think this is the earliest we could have gotten you the story. But first of all, we are on, I believe, school number 65. Spotlight 65. My goodness. We're almost at the end of the Spotlight series on the Power 4 programs. Where does the time go? I've had a complete blast doing this. The Spotlight series goes on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. My goodness. My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. Rutgers in the chat room. Let me know. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be AJ. I don't know if it's going to be Dylan. Who's going to be your quarterback? AJ or Dylan Lonergan? AJ, this is his third year. He's been the backup quarterback for Ethan Kaliakmanis. He's barely played. For whatever reason, I think he might be the one at the end of the season. Now, of course, Dylan Lonergan has played a lot more at Boston College, coming in on transfer. The quarterback position is a big question mark. Rutgers has two big question marks. The quarterback position and the defense. Woo! The defense, I think there's going to be a lot of issues there. But look, the Scarlet Knights have got a lot of talent on this team. And it begins with the great running back, Antoine Raymond. Over 1,200 yards rushing. 5.1 average per rush. 13 rushing touchdowns. 18 receptions. 225 receiving yards. 2 receiving touchdowns. A spectacular season last year. And he's coming back to Rutgers for 2026. They've got their running back. The Rutgers have had a good running attack lately, here in the last few years, under Schiano. They've got a tremendous wide receiver, K.J. Duff, 60 receptions last year, over 1,000 yards receiving, 18.1 average per reception, 7 receiving touchdowns. K.J. Duff, Antoine Raymond. That is one hell of a combination. One hell of a combination. Jay Price, I was wondering when you were going to get to my beloved Scarlet Knights. Chop, LSU of the North. Well, today's the day. Today we go Rutgers under the spotlight. The quarterback position, I don't know. I have my questions. But RB1, wide receiver 1, absolutely brilliant. Top of the line. I also like this guy now. He hasn't played all that much. There's a lot of steam coming out of Rutgers. There's a lot of steam coming out of New Jersey about this man, Ben Black. The first 2 years, only 20 receptions. Only 20 catches, 276 yards receiving, 4.9 average per reception, 1 receiving touchdown. But there's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of smoke coming out of Rutgers when it comes to Ben Black's development. So, KJ Duff, Antoine Raymond, Ben Black. What about the defense? Rutgers was last in the Big Ten in defense last year. And they don't have much coming back. I put Moses Walker. A lot of people think this is going to be the year for Moses Walker. He's been around. He's an upperclassman. I think the biggest news coming out of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights is the firing of Rob Smith, Zach Parber. Rob Smith, Schiano did Rutgers no favor in hiring defensive coordinator Rob Smith. That was PJ Fleck's number one mistake in his hiring at the University of Minnesota. That was a huge mistake. And then Coach Schiano followed it up by hiring Rob Smith. So that, Greg Schiano, he is in a hole here. He is in a hole because of the hiring of Rob Smith. Can he get out of that hole? Can the offense score enough points for Coach Greg Schiano to recover? For new defensive coordinator Travis Johansson, the former South Dakota head coach. Can Schiano survive this season? I think it's questionable. Here is Rutgers' regular season at Boston College, USC, Indiana, holy smokes, Maryland, Northwestern. You got to win those games, but both of those games are on the road. Michigan at home, on the road Wisconsin, at home against Nebraska, Penn State, and Michigan State. Can Greg Schiano survive this year? I believe he's going to be on the hot seat early. I have my doubts. We've got Rutgers coming in 17th place. Last year should have been the year for Rutgers. Rutgers should have defeated Minnesota last year, but they screwed it up at the end. And I do not see the replacements on the defensive side of the ball field. I do not see... I think the defense is going to give up a lot of points, and the offense ain't going to be nowhere near where it was last year. However, Schiano is a fighter. He's a survivor. When you think he's down, he gets back up. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Rutgers does this year. The quarterback battle, every time I read about it, and again I read about it last night, I read about it this morning. Everybody's got a different idea on the quarterback battle at Rutgers? AJ or Dylan? AJ or Dylan? Let me know in the comments section. Let me know in the comments section. Who do you think is going to win that quarterback battle? But that is how we've got it. Let me know how wrong I got it once again. We've got Rutgers coming in 17th place. I think if Rutgers goes 6-6, you got to give Schiano another shot at it. If he can recover that defense, because that offense last year, that offense last year was legit. Give Schiano another year if Rutgers can go 6-6. But I don't know if they're going to be able to go 6-6. Let me know what you think in the chat room and with your phone calls later on in the program. Look at this story here that we're going to hit next. And then we'll get to the hot bubble of action. Take a look at this. And then we're going to get you out of here. We're going to get you out of here as quick as possible because it's July 3rd. I know you want to spend time with your family. You do not want to spend time with the fat guy from Minnesota. Washington State, 247. Now, this article was written a couple of days ago, so I feel that I can put it out there. Michael Baumgartner, representative from the great state of Washington, sees Washington State at the center of the national fight over future of college athletics. The congressman sees chances of the Senate bill passing as written at less than 50%. But that is not the PATC money shot of this article. We'll get to it in a moment. College athletics has reached a breaking point, Representative Michael Baumgartner says, and he argues that Washington State's experience is a prime example of why Congress should intervene. The traditional model that we all love has really been disrupted. Baumgartner tells CougFan.com, Washington State 247, an exclusive interview. Nobody knows this more than Washington State University, which lost roughly $30 million annually in media rights revenue following the breakup of the Pac-12. Baumgartner said the financial fallout extends well beyond football, affecting universities' ability to sponsor Olympic sports and provide opportunities for student athletes. He pointed to Washington State's elimination of its nationally respected men's indoor track and field program as an example of the broader consequences. What we've been trying to do here in Congress is try to put college sports back on a substantial pathway, he said. A sustainable pathway, excuse me. The legislation faces significant obstacles. Baumgartner estimates its chances, as written, of ultimately becoming law at less than 50%. Less than 50%. Citing opposition from the Big Ten and the SEC, as well as lawmakers who favor allowing college athletes to unionize. Still, he sees reasons for optimism, namely the growing willingness of Senator Ted Cruz of Texas to support smaller schools, plus the bipartisanship cooperation with Senator Maria Cantwell of Washington in crafting the Senate's bill. Ideally, there would be a vote when the Senate returns before the recess, Baumgartner said. They have to get through some of those other bigger issues. And if they did get that vote on the floor before the recess, then we could deal with something this fall potentially. Potentially. So, Baumgartner, who's in the House, hoping for a vote in the Senate this fall. One of the more confusing aspects of the Senate version of the legislation has been an amendment viewed by some as potentially limiting the group of 6 schools from joining power conferences, raising concerns among Washington State supporters hoping for an eventual membership in another power conference. Baumgartner doesn't see that provision as making it through to the end. Wow. Wow. So Baumgartner doesn't believe restricting movement from schools, that provision, he doesn't think it's going to make it to the end. That is how unpopular that part of the bill is. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about what Ross Dellinger said on the College Football Inquirer podcast. Bob Gardner is saying the same thing. I would say it is very likely that if the Senate bill moves, that provision about discussing conference realignment would probably be removed from the text when it goes to the Senate floor. That is a massive comment from this congressman who's in the same state as Maria Cantwell. If that provision is removed, there's a better shot for this bill to pass. A better chance for no quick strike from the Southeastern Conference and from the Big Ten. Very interesting. You can see by Ross Dellinger's reporting. You can see by Baumgart, the congressman from the state of Washington. They don't think this thing is going to stay. This restriction of movement, which I think would get shot down in the courts. Could this bill pass if you take that out? If you make it more optional when it comes to the pooling of the rights? If they have language, if they add language that says, in no way will this ever become mandatory that you got to share pooling of the media rights. Then this bill looks awfully like the SCORE Act that the House was trying to get through earlier this year. Very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware. These are big statements. Big statements. Okay. I do appreciate everybody coming on in. We're going to try to get everybody out of here as quick as possible. We got OBD done. We're going to go back into the major story. We're going to open up the phone lines really quick. We did the Rutgers Spotlight. I wanted to hit that article. We got to talk about the hot bubble of action, and we're going to get to your phone calls. Super Chat OBD done. $5 holler. Okay, great. Since you can't tug on your earlobe and want to do anything, then just breathe. That is good enough. Thank you, OPD Dunn. I appreciate the support on the breathing. Thank you, Mr. Purple and Gold. Thank you for the $5 holler. Thank you for your generosity. My goodness. Thank you very much. Kenneth Maynard, $5 holler. The Pirate Gator. And we're getting closer. And we're getting closer to putting the spotlight on the East Carolina Pirates, because they're going to be one of the handful of teams that we do the spotlight on when we're done with the Power Four teams, and we've only got 3 Power Four teams left to do. We're near the end. We got 65 done. $5 holler from Kenneth Maynard. Super chat. There is a Buc-ee's opening soon, a few miles from North Carolina. All the proof I need. SCC it is. I don't think there's one of those in Minnesota. If somebody can check, I've never seen one. I wouldn't know what it looked like. Somebody Google Buc-ee's and let me know if there's one in Minnesota. So that might even be more of an indication to you, Kenneth Maynard. But thank you so much for the $5 holler. Very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. There's no Buc-ee's in Minnesota. Thank you, Jason. I haven't seen, look, there's probably not one in Wisconsin, right? There's one under construction in Tallahassee. Okay, let's get to it so we can get to your phone calls. July 1st, which is Wednesday, we were told by an associate from BTM, Big Ten man, that the word was given to a money perch in Chapel Hill, one that we are very well connected with. And if you were, I don't think I want to go down that rabbit hole, but one of the very first Holy Smokes theaters that we did in the North Carolina, there was a North Carolina guy with a mask who was holding a pair of hockey skates. Anyways, we were given information. This is coming from a particular money perch at North Carolina, giving us the heads up that there was a high level of discussions out of the norm, perceived by the money perch between Southeastern Conference and North Carolina, University of North Carolina. We took that information and we ran it through the mill. We ran it through people. We didn't get any hits for a while on it for a day. Then there was another money perch, and I'm not going to name the school, who also told us that they believed this had happened. It was at least a rumor at that point. We poked and prodded and where that rumor started from, and it started nowhere near the North Carolina Chapel Hill money perch told us. So then we reached out to some more people, and a chatter behind the curtain, when I gave this person the information that we were trying to confirm, a chatter behind the curtain said, "Where did you hear that from?" And we gave a vague answer. And then the chatter behind the curtain said, "Yes, and it recently happened outside of Birmingham, Alabama." And we said, yes, that's what we were told. We were able to connect more information between the two sources. And yes, it did happen recently. At this point, I am going to be wildly vague about what I mean by recent. There's a really good reason why I'm being vague on this. Like, really good reason. I know you don't want me to say, trust me, bro. So I won't say it that way. Okay? But there's a really, really, really good reason why I'm not going to be more specific on the date range than what I'm giving you. Later on, I will explain. So I'm going to give you the date range of June 1st to July 1st. At some point in that date range, there was a hot bubble of action. It's been confirmed in more ways than I just described. I just described to you the start of it. This bit of information, in one way, does not rise to the level of some sort of national reporter talking about it. But again, it's something that we can do here at College Football Peek Around the Corner. We do know, we believe we have the date of the hot bubble of action. We would not give that to you even if we knew it, just like the May 7th, Chicago 2023. At some point we will. We know the location. And the location of that meeting is within this circle. And that is as far as I'm going to go with that. Can't go any more than that. And there is really good reasons why I can't. Like, we're not done with this story. I want to get more of this story. And I want to be able to make sure I get the information after what comes next. So I'm not gonna sacrifice ourselves. You know, we're gonna do this responsibly. A lot of people don't think I'm being responsible by even putting this out. But this is College Football Peek Around the Corner. I do not work for the ACC or North Carolina or the Big Ten I don't work for any of these people. I don't work for any of them. And I'm not stepping on the sources. The sources that have given us this information, we are not impeding them. We are not hurting them. We are doing no damage at all. In fact, we are probably giving them a service. Take that however you want to take it. Big Ten money purchase. Know about this. This is not a secret. As I said, this has been confirmed multiple times over. The question that we have is was this an actionable meeting? Is the next step actionable? Is there no more meetings to be had? We don't think that's true. We don't think that's the case here. Because of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill having to go through the Board of Governors. There's a reason why the last couple of days I have been discussing in public about the North Carolina Board of Governors. is because we were working on this story. I have not talked about the North Carolina Board of Governors for a while, but I've talked about them in the last 48 hours. Again, there is no indication that there has been any movement, any action from North Carolina Board of Regents to the North Carolina Board of Governors, which needs to be done. So I don't think we're there yet. But this was a University of North Carolina, the university itself action. And for them to be in a position to potentially pull the trigger in the next 2 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 18 months with the SEC of the Big Ten, they're going to have to go through the machinations of the North Carolina Board of Governors. And that might include North Carolina State getting a big slice of the revenue, or North Carolina State getting an invite. We don't know. Now, there's been recent news that the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and North Carolina State are both going to get $5.8 million of revenue through the state, North Carolina State gambling revenues. It seems like that is all going to be passed and done. But there was a hot bubble of action which multiple different money purchases first believed that it happened. Now they know it happened, allegedly, from different conferences. This leaked. This sucker leaked. Cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger, but the cloak did not totally take. Just like the cloaking did not totally take in Chicago, May 7th, 2023, between Big 12 Yormark and the Colorado president. Now, this cloak here did work. In other words, we did not know this was going to happen, but we found out later that it did. So where does this lead us? Again, at some point, it has to lead to the North Carolina Board of Governors, or it doesn't go anywhere, or it just stops. And again, we do not know if the Big Ten has had this type of level of meeting with UNC. Maybe they have, and we don't know about it. This meeting happened allegedly between June 1st and July 1st. This meeting allegedly happened within this circle. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. And I would tell you from Big Ten perspective, when we got triplicate and quadruplicate confirmation that this meeting, a higher level meeting, happened between North Carolina and the Southeastern Conference, we, from the same people that wanted us to say a few, I don't want to go back in time, but that USC story and other stories, but that one in particular, there was high motivation for a group of money purchasers that wanted me to say what we said to make sure that the Big Ten, there was this whole game of pressure. This one is Big Ten. You better wake up. You better wake up. That is what's coming out of some Big Ten circles here in the last few days. Again, the Southeastern Conference, probably a little bit more motivated, probably a little bit more aligned, probably a little bit more nimble, and they have certain media partner advantages. They only have to go through one. And again, those leaders at the North Carolina level, the University of North Carolina Board of Regents level, they lean Southeastern Conference. The hiring of their new athletic director, Newmark, definitely leans SEC in his skill set and what he knows there in that part of the country. So there it is. We are going to follow this story. We'll see where it goes to. Again, we are not reporting tonight that North Carolina is going to be the 17th member of the SEC. We have predicted that, but we have not reported that, and that's not changing tonight. We are not reporting that. But we are reporting that the level of discussions have kicked up a notch between the SEC and the University of North Carolina. One more point I got to make, and I need everybody to listen to this real clear. Real clear. So we got this information. We kind of failed somewhat trying to get it confirmed. Then we got it, then another, then a chatter behind the curtain, and then the Big Ten media money and then it was like, okay, this happened. Once I felt comfortable enough to talk about this happening, I had one more question that I pushed before we went on live with this. My question was, is this the story? Remember, this was considered a rumor by some people, administrators, money perch. This was sort of like a rumor. Then it became, then we got confirmation that it actually happened. And I pushed the question, is this what alerted like a Ross Dellinger to say that things have picked up? That talks have picked up between the SEC, Big Ten, and their candidate schools? Is it something like this? Did he hear about this? How many people know about this? Is this why everybody is writing these stories? Is this the shot clock? Did the shot clock start at the button when this big happening happened? Nobody really knows. I mean, obviously Ross Dellinger and other, but we don't. In my Rolodex of people, we do not know. But we're wondering if it was, or if it was this and another one and another one and another one, because this is probably not the only hot bubble of action. It's the only one we know of. But it probably isn't the only one. Here recently, and I'm giving the dates, June 1st, July 1st, I'm not going to get any more detail than that. We did know that the Colorado and the Big 12 hot bubble of action on May 7th in Chicago in 2023, we knew that was the only one. We knew that Colorado was the tip of the spear. We had Colorado in the middle of the stage all the way back since February 24th, and that meeting happened on May 7th of 2023. But this is a whole different kettle of fish. This is a whole different story. There's two conferences, Big Ten, SEC. You got Big 12 hanging in the back, waiting to see what happens. You've got all these candidate schools. This is probably not the only one. So this has definitely gone to another level. It just so happens we found out about the one that is the biggest domino on the board besides Notre Dame. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Where does this take us next? I have no idea. We are not going to give up. We're not going to, again, I have given out information tonight. I have worked in this story for 2 days, so there's people who know about this information that are checking on it. There is a certain level of confirmation about certain generalities about this meeting. If I get more information, and I will, I always do after a report like this, and if it matches up to what I do know that I haven't told you guys, I know that that stream of information has some credibility to it. So we're working the story. Delivering what we know today on this story is part of what I do to get more information. This is how it works. At least this is how PATC works it. Again, this show is not for everybody. All right? So if you don't like this type of what we do, I completely understand it. You do not have to watch our program. It is my loss, not yours. But we are going to continue on this story and everything else that is going on in college football. I do want to thank you all for joining us. Let's get to your phone calls. I do want to get everybody out of here as quick as possible. I am done rambling. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. I do want to thank those. I do want to thank MBM. Massive super chat. Holy smokes. Very humbled by your incredible generosity. Anthony Carlson, OBD Don, Christopher Hooter, Studzilla, OBD Don, Kenneth, Maynard, Jeremy Nork, thank you for the $5 holla. Hold on 1 second.
From
Edward the Auburn Tiger.
Edward the Auburn Tiger, can you hold on for just a moment, please?
I sure can.
I do appreciate it. Jeremy Nork, who is the leading candidate to join the SEC of North Carolina at the moment? I would say, and again, this is just me speculating, I would put it at Virginia, Clemson, Florida State. That's who I would put out there, but that is complete speculation. I mean, again, we've talked to a lot of people on this, so it's not complete speculation, but it definitely, I do not have a report on it, that's for sure. Thank you for the $5 holler, Jeremy Norrick. I appreciate it. Edward the Auburn Tiger, the floor is yours.
Greg, another great show, man. Thank you for keeping us in on the college football pulse of what is going on. It seems like every time you come on live, we're inching closer to the quick strike. And I know it's not imminent.
No, I don't think so.
But there's something in the air, Greg, it seems to be. And this meeting with North Carolina, I mean, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, I don't see it going back in, Greg. I mean, you cannot stop this train that's going on. I believe
it's tough.
We are sitting on the verge of realignment with the Big Ten and the SEC, because I believe the opportunity is everything, and I believe the SEC is going to use this opportunity, even though it wasn't their advantageous time that they chose. But the climate, the justification of realignment with this bill just around the horizons, I believe that the presidents the ADs. There's too much bitterness, too much frustration with what's happened, where everything has brought us to this moment, and I just don't see no turning back. Irregardless if they change the bill or not, I think that the climate in the SEC, there's no turning back. I really do believe that. And I believe it's like you said, we don't trust anybody. And so
yeah, you don't.
We don't.
No.
Where we don't trust anybody.
Yeah, I know. I get
it. So I think the urgency, and I think a big thing too with the ESPN willing to allow us to have early media negotiations. I think that's the real clincher there. If that wasn't on the table, I really don't see the SEC trying to do this now, or can do it now. But because that's just around the corner, I just don't see them turning back, given the climate that we're in right now. But Greg, thank you. Thank you so much for what you do. You don't realize this makes our day. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, sir.
You have a great day,
Thank you for
sir.
the call. We've got some non-college football breaking news. Non-college football breaking news. Again, I apologize. According to NBA insider Shams, LeBron James will likely be making his free agent decision between these 6 teams: the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, the Denver Nuggets, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Golden State Warriors, and your Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's go! Now look. You guys are going to have to forgive me. You're going to have to forgive me. Kenneth Maynard, you're going to have to forgive me. I'm a Michael Jordan guy. Look, LeBron James has had an incredible career. He's 41 years old. He's playing really good basketball. Hold on.
From
J.A.D. Price.
J.A.D. Price, can you hold on for just one moment, please?
Yes, I can.
I appreciate it. I just have to get this out here. Look.
Sure.
So I'm not a LeBron James. I'm not. I respect. He great basketball player. 41 years old. He can still play some minutes at the power forward position. I am so desperate. For a world championship here at Minnesota. I've got nieces and nephews, all in their 30, 31, 32 years of age, and none of them have seen a men's professional world championship from the state of Minnesota. Not a one of them. I am so desperate. I need this to happen. So look, if you're Cavalier fans, if you're Golden State fans, if you're the 76ers fans, do me a favor. Vox Quindaro, get on your hands and knees. And pray to God that the Minnesota Timberwolves get LeBron James to play with the Rudy Gobert, to play with Jaden McDaniels, to play with LaMelo Ball, and to play with Anthony Edwards. Let's go. Let's get this done. Absolutely. We are pulling for the Minnesota Timberwolves, baby. Absolutely. Vox Quindaro, anyone definitely stating anything in conference realignment is a fool. Only the shot callers truly know, and that's true. And this sucker, just like the Texas Pac-12 thing, it can change on a dime. We only can give you the dots of information, and we'll see where it goes. Thank you, Jade Price, for your patience. I appreciate it. The floor is yours.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Thanks for taking the call. I'm not going to be too long because I've got to cork butt on the smoker right now that I got to keep an eye on. So
Got it.
I just wanted to come and want to talk about Rutgers a little bit.
Yeah,
because not
beautiful.
many other people will. So first of all, about the quarterback, I think it's going to be Serace. I think he wins the job because the Chirac is saying that it takes about 3 years to learn his system, and I think that Serace has been with Rutgers for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So he definitely has the playbook under his belt way more than Lonergan does. Lonergan's probably got the stronger arm. He's got more experience, starting for Boston College. But one thing Shiano prizes is not turning the ball over. And so I think that with Antoine and with KJ Duff being studs, they'll take the pressure off of him to let him play within himself so that he doesn't make mistakes and try to press.
Where is Serace from? What state? What high school?
He's a local kid. He comes out of Notre Dame High School in Central Jersey, and his father is the head coach at Princeton University. So he's very cerebral.
Okay.
He knows the game. So
sounds like a Kirk Schiraka guy.
Well.
Sounds like a Kirk Schiraka guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically a mini Ethan. So if he can just be serviceable, we'll be fine on offense. Now defense, as we know, was a disaster last year. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that we brought in Johansson from a lower level in North Dakota State, brought basically his whole team in, and the idea is to have bring a guy who's been proven at a lower level and see if he can coach up and have everyone on the same team to at least bring us up off the floor. I mean, we were on the floor last year. If he can just bring us up to respectability, that'll go a long way. No, not expecting them to be defensive stalwarts, but if they can just help us keep the game closer to the fourth quarter and with more speed and more depth, give us a chance to win. Going into the fourth quarter. So we lost like 2 or 3 games last year by 1 score because our defense was exhausted. And then, the final thing is we didn't have a spring game this year. And the rumor is that, Shannon, like I said, is really tight-lipped. And last year, before the season started, he was downright depressed, you could tell, about the defense.
Yeah.
This year, he's been way more happy than he has any right to be based on what happened last year. So the rumor going around is that he thinks that the defense is going to be better. And 2, we've got some young studs in the wide receiver room and also in the running back room that nobody knows about, and he doesn't want any footage of them out there. One, so that maybe we can surprise some people with how good they are, and also so that their NIL value doesn't go up so they don't get poached by other teams as well. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping for 6-6. I think that it's possible. Yeah. If he gets to 6-6, or even if he goes 5-6, but we look a lot better than we did, he's safe this year and going into next year.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, he's in trouble because now we're starting to get NIL money. We've got a good NIL program in place. We brought in our president is from LSU. Our athletic director was at LSU. She put in a revamped the NIL system completely. So money's starting to come in, and both of those people, their whole mindset is winning. So if he can't put it together after in 2 years, then we're probably looking for a new coach. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be able to right the ship with the new NIL program and system that we have in place. So hopefully we'll see what happens. Sorry to take up too much time.
No problem.
I'll let you go and sit back and listen.
Beautiful call. Absolutely beautiful call. Please call again, Jade Price, for all your Rutgers talk. Love it. Thank you, sir.
All right, will do.
You got it. Beautiful.
Thanks.
AJ Serace versus Dylan Lonergan. AJ versus Dylan. I think he's right. I think AJ is going to get the spot eventually, if not right away. KJ Duff, Antoine Raymond, real good talent.
Call from
Christopher Hooter.
Christopher Hooter, the floor is yours.
Well, happy 4th almost there, buddy.
Happy 4th to you too. Happy birthday, America. 250 years. I remember my father coming back from Stevens Point, Wisconsin, the bicentennial, 1976. He brought back 1976 bicentennial Stevens Point beer, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. That's where he grew up. Yeah, now it's 50 years later, just like that. Bam. Go ahead, sir.
Well, we were kids, but I remember 1976. I mean,
Yeah.
So wow, that's dating us, right?
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, great. Okay, so now that Ross Dellinger and everybody thinks they've taken some of the unfavorable parts out of the Protective College Sports Act.
Possibly, yeah.
Out. Possibly. Has faith and trust been restored, or no, the quick strike is still just as likely as it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
Great question. I don't think really anything has changed. I mean, again, they have not taken that part out of the bill yet, right? I mean, Ross Dellinger believes there's a good chance it will. Really, no action has taken place. The vote on the Senate floor hasn't even been scheduled. So it does seem like there's some indications that there are going to be some things taken out of the bill that Sankey and Petiti would want taken out. But then again, what is the reaction to it after that if it is taken out? Is there enough support? Does the other support on the other side leak too much? The quick strike, as we have reported, Christopher Hooter, is not something that the Big Ten wants to do at this point. If they need to do it, they will, but they don't want to do it. I don't think this is the timetable for the Southeastern Conference as well. But again, they have prepared because, as Edward the Auburn Tiger has eloquently said, as you have eloquently said, the SEC don't trust nobody, right? So here we are.
Well, when we were watching those hearings, right, and Cantwell and all those people, you go, oh my God, they got to do it, and they got to do it fast, right? So, so we were thinking, they announced in 27, and it happens in 28.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it doesn't quite happen that fast, and we give everybody another year. But who knows, right? We're kind of just speculating now. So anyway, appreciate the update on UNC there.
Yeah. You got it.
The last month, I can understand your timing there. You don't want to dial it down. It was last Thursday at 2 p.m. I get that, right?
Yep.
Anyway, all right, man. You did a great job. Okay, thank you, guys. I'll talk to you.
Okay, let me see here. UNC's got to be careful to keep that. Well, we have said allegedly. How many times have we said allegedly so far on this show? Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. Maybe it did not happen between June 1st and July 1st. Maybe it did not happen within that circle. So, we don't know for sure at peek around the corner. That is true. Absolutely true. All right, guys, I think we're going to lock it up. We've been on the air for an hour and 30 minutes. I wanted to get you guys out of here earlier. Go enjoy your July 3rd, your July 4th. We may come on live tomorrow. So keep your head on a swivel. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I might do something. If I do something, it's probably going to be fun in nature instead of this, which is fun. But if we get any more updates on this story, which we will, but if there's anything that I can put forward. But yeah, we'll just head into July 4th. At this point, enjoy your family and friends, your loved ones. Celebrate the 4th, your independence. And I appreciate all your support. Thank you for the incredible donations, super chats. Thank you for the phone calls and the great comments that I did not get a lot into the comments. We'll talk about more about this this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. And maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow. So keep your head on a swivel. Before you leave, please subscribe, smash the like button. Do not forget to ring the notification bell. From all of us to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family, Golden Gophers.